Hi, everybody, and welcome to Heel Heat, our Ring of Honor show for the week. My name is George Coles. This is my tag team partner, Jimmy Jacobs.
Gary Rhodes, everybody. You just want me to call you Carino, aren't you? I don't think so.
The first thing we're going to talk about is for the new year, Ring of Honor has a new show opener. And I was very, very impressed with this one. This was on the level of WWE as far as the style. They did a lot better than their old one. They brought in some new music. It's a better song. It highlighted the talents better. I thought, what did you think overall of it?
It made it look more like a legit show, not not like a big hall show, but like an indie show or anything.
Yes, and it's anything that could help with the production value is really going to help the product get out there to people. Now, the first match of the night was a tag team called Alabama Attitude, and I'm sorry, I forget the names of the two individual guys, versus Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly. I thought it was a really good match. I'm not familiar with Alabama Attitude. This is the first time I've ever seen either of them.
I like what they did with O'Reilly, to be honest with you, because remember a couple of shows ago I was talking about like he needed like some facial hair or something to make him look like a little tougher.
Scruffy.
Yeah, exactly. I thought it was a well-worked match. Both teams worked excellent against each other. Both adhered to the code of honor too.
Yeah. And for the way they're going with Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly's gimmick, that was kind of refreshing to see them using the Code of Honor, which, like we were talking about, you didn't watch Ring of Honor in its early days.
No.
The Code of Honor was something that in the early days was a lot more stringent than it is now, and it was a lot easier for a heel to get over just not using the Code of Honor. I mean, Christopher Daniels in Ring of Honor basically made his Ring of Honor career off of not using it. But I thought it was a really good match. I think it was a little bit to showcase Fish and O'Reilly. They're engaged with a feud with the American Wolves, Davey Richards and Eddie Edwards, and they're a newer team. They haven't been tagging much, but I really liked what they did together. I liked their finisher, the Brainbuster head kick combo.
Yeah, I was really impressed with that. I was impressed with a lot of the moves during this match, to be honest with you. I mean, it was almost like a highlight reel matches, or a highlight reel on both sides of the spectrum for both teams.
I've said it again, and I'll say it before, and I'll say it again. Ring of Honor has the absolute best tag team division in wrestling.
Well, you look at it this way: this episode doesn't have a lot of matches on it, but the main event.
It's only an hour show.
Well, yeah, but the opening match and the main event are both tag team matches.
Exactly. And coming off of that match, we had an in-ring segment with Nigel McGuinness addressing the actions of Jay Lethal at Final Battle. If you don't know, Jay Lethal basically spit on Nigel when he said he couldn't be in the main event. Jay comes out, says, "What do I have to do?" Nigel basically tells him that you have to convince Kevin Steen into letting you have the match, and that's the only way we'll do it, which I think will lead to something eventually.
I think this could lead to Jay Lethal getting a major, not push, but just stepping up in the ranks in wrestling. Exactly. I've always thought the kid had great talent. It's just something, he was always missing one thing. I think what Ring of Honor really gave it to him was that mean streak.
Serious, yeah.
Well, the mean streak. Serious, he was kind of serious at certain points,
yeah.
But he just lacked a mean streak, and I'm getting very impressed with Jay Lethal's mean streak.
Exactly. Hopefully it's going to build up to a big match with him and Kevin Steen, which I would love to see. It's two guys that I think would work really good together.
Well, Steen could work great with anybody, but...
Well, so could Jay.
Exactly. And I think that, like you're saying, I think this could be, if they take their time and build it. I mean, it's building for like, what, a couple months now?
Yeah.
Build it for like 6 months till they finally get together. I think you'll see something good.
Now, after that, we had our Inside Ring of Honor, which is basically their recap/promo segment. They recapped Adam Cole versus Matt Hardy from Final Battle.
Fat Hardy.
I got it.
Okay.
And then they talked about Hardy beating him, but not getting the TV title shot, which goes to B.J. Whitmer, which I don't understand how he deserves it, but more power to him. B.J. Whitmer is a guy that's been around for a little while, and he's a good worker. And then it eventually brought out Steve Corino because they were talking up how Kevin Steen hasn't been in contact with Ring of Honor since Final Battle, which was about 3 weeks ago now. And Corino Carino said that basically everybody's lying, that Kevin Steen's perfectly fine.
They had this new top prospect. Well, they've done it before, but it was before I watched it. Yeah, I didn't really watch it then, though. The top prospect tournament. And we had Matt Sydal versus QT Marshall.
Mike Sydal.
Mike Sydal, I'm sorry.
You're thinking of his brother.
Yeah.
Mike Sydal is Matt Sydal, a.k.a. Evan Bourne's younger brother.
Yes.
And this was a really good match with two really good up-and-coming wrestlers. I like QT Marshall. I like his style. He kind of reminds me of a C.W. Anderson, or any of the Andersons, really.
Anybody with a horseshoe, huh?
Yeah. Well, not the horseshoe necessarily, but he has that more methodical style, almost like Adam Pearce style. And Mike Sydal, I think he has a lot to live up to with his brother Matt, Evan Bourne. He has a lot to live up to because Evan Bourne's one of the best high flyers in the business. Mike isn't bad either. He's really good. I actually think that it looks like he connects with a crowd better than Evan does.
The one thing I like about him is his gimmick's kind of a way different aspect than what his brother is. I mean, they both do the same style, but his out of the ring, or whatever you want to call it, the hair's different, long and blonde, and his brother's is short, and he's trying to make himself look physically as much different as he could.
Yeah, and I think they're both two good young talents that they deserve to be in a tournament like this, get some TV time. And QT Marshall actually wins a match, which we're going to probably see more of both of them, but I like this. The way Ring of Honor runs, with the way that people leave so much, they do need to do this every now and again, do a new talent, bring in, basically. I mean, they lose guys basically every other year. They're losing main talent.
And the added part of the match was Truth Martini was doing commentary during this match.
Yeah, which I kind of liked. I liked him on the commentary, and I think him being with the top prospect tournament, you're going to see one of those guys be managed by him and become part of the new House of Truth. And then we go right into our main event, which you touched on earlier, was a tag team match. The Briscoe Brothers promised if they won the title that Caprice Coleman and Cedric Alexander would get the first match. And they lived up to their promise. Excellent, excellent, excellent match. The Briscoe Brothers are absolutely the best tag team in the world. Coleman and Alexander aren't that far behind. They kept right up with them.
I like the Death Valley driver that Mark hit. I've never seen one like that. It was probably one of the best Death Valley drivers I've ever seen.
And then Cedric Alexander hits the trio of back suplexes.
Yes.
He hits two, and then they stop him for a moment, and then he does it on both the Briscoes, which was rather impressive, too. Some good high-flying work by Coleman and Alexander. Some good stuff. The Briscoes did all their signatures. Mark Briscoe did the froggy elbow. They did the doomsday device. But altogether, an excellent tag team match. One of the best tag team matches that I've seen in a long time. And I know we continuously say that about Ring of Honor, but like we said earlier, it's one of the things that really stands out about Ring of Honor is their commitment to tag team wrestling. That tag team wrestling could sell. Tag team wrestling could draw.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you look at it, some of the biggest draws of all time: the Legion of Doom, the Von Erichs,
your Dudleys,
the Dudley Boys, the Freebirds, the Rock and Roll Express, and the Midnight Express feud. I mean, some of your big draws of all times have been tag teams.
Look at the TLC matches.
Yeah.
Back in the day between the Dudleys, the Hardys, Edge and Christian, those are some of the matches that really brought the Attitude Era to that the upper echelon in the business.
Yeah. And this was a fantastic match. The Briscoe Brothers end up winning with the Doomsday device. Everybody shakes hands afterwards. And then Scum comes out, and it's Jimmy Jacobs, Steve Corino, and they have a new member, and that is
Rhino.
The Man-Beast Rhino.
And he hit a gore.
I really like this aspect of Rhino. He's going full circle. If you guys remember, Steve Corino brought Rhino into the fold in the original ECW, and now Steve Corino and Rhino are working with each other again. I really like that he'd be involved with this, that he'd be part of the faction. It gives this faction a little bit more to work with. They got a tag team, they got the world champion, and now they got an enforcer. Which,
like that, huh? You never know. I was very impressed with this
I
episode.
think it's more of an evolution of that.
Yeah, an evolution of that.
You like that?
Yeah, I like that. To me, this is a newer product to me. I mean, it's been around for a while, but I've not really watched it, and it's gotten a lot better from parts I've seen before till now.
Yeah. And they're going to keep going up. I think I really enjoy what they put out as a product, as an alternative to the other two shows that we see, the other two companies we see national. Ring of Honor is more of your hardcore wrestling fan show, which obviously we are, or else we wouldn't be doing a YouTube show about wrestling.
Nail on the head, kid.
There you go. But basically, that's all I gotta say. Before we do that, what would you give this show out of 5 stars?
I'd give it 4, just because the way that the main event match was, and the opening match. I mean, all the matches were good, so yeah, I'd give it a 4, solid 4.
I give it a 5. It's one of the better wrestling shows I've seen. It was put together well. The opening package was good. All 3 matches were good. The Inside Ring of Honor backstage segments hyped us up for next week's show. The ending segment where Scum comes out and attacks hypes us out, lets us remember that Scum is there.
The thing I like about this product is it doesn't go off topic. You know what I'm saying? There's everything that happened for a reason. Scum and them attack because of the tag team titles.
Yeah.
I'm really enjoying the product. They don't go, like I said, they don't go far to the left or far to the right. They keep everything. It's like everything's well written.
Something.
Exactly. That's what I like about it.
So I gave it a 5. You gave it a 4. Basically, that's all I gotta say. Is there anything you wanted to add?
No.
My name is George Coles.
Gary Rhodes.
And this is our Heel Heat Ring of Honor show for the week.